Welcome to Project Pack 09. This is so exciting. I, today, for the first time, get to film one of these with one of my daughters. This is Molly.
I'm sure we've done this already.
No,
Oh,
I don't think so.
First time.
No, this is the first time.
Well, as she said, I am Molly,
Yeah.
and this is my mom.
This is going to be fun.
What's your name?
Maria. And Molly is going to tell me what to do because she designed this project pack, and I think it's a wonderful idea. And she's going to guide me
All right.
along in my presentation to you.
Here we go.
Okay.
So this is the second video in this Project Pack series, and this particular Project Pack series, I highly recommend watching the videos in order. So if you haven't watched the first video that came out previously,
Which was the setup.
Yep. Then I recommend going back and watching that one first. But for the rest of you that watched the previous video and are ready for video number 2, then welcome, and let's get started. So we yesterday worked on 6 different tiles, and basically what we did was we put this very string on all of our tiles. So it was a very beautiful arc going in 2 directions. And then we created a sort of pod-like shape over here.
Like perk.
Like perk, yeah, totally. And we did that on all 6 of our tiles. So they actually look, fairly similar. And the part of the process that we're going through is adding layers. So Mom did that to hers, and she has a few of those all ready to go. But before we do that, we are actually just going to do some demonstrating for a while. And this particular video is all about organic tangles.
This part of the video.
This
yeah.
part of the video, yeah. And so what we're going to have you guys do now is sort of put your tiles aside and sit back and relax and either just watch what we're doing, or maybe you want to have maybe a scratch piece of paper to play around with the tangles she's demonstrating.
Or you could take like an apprentice tile and do all of them on one
Yeah,
tile.
there's
and
so
then
many different options.
But we want you to experience each of these tangles before you do them on your Zendalis.
And we'll let you, we're going to instruct on how we're going to do that afterwards. But for now, we're going to talk a little bit about organic tangles first, and then we're going to demo them.
So Molly gave me a few of the ones that she really loves to do, and I actually love these too. We have poke leaf, which Molly's going to do on her first video, and then we have poke root, Rixty. This is Rick's version of flux, and Maria's version of flux. We have Samson, Sprinkle, which is really fun, and Vertigo.
And the reason these are called organic tangles is, it might be kind of obvious, but they really sort of have a direct resemblance to something from nature.
Something that grows.
Yeah, they kind of grow on your tile. They kind of could sort of go wild and maybe sort of take over other parts, and they have this very sort of invasive quality to them, and they definitely have a nature-inspired feel to them, and we thought that was so appropriate for this ensemble we're doing, that we really wanted to get that sort of spring-like feel with, and we're using these green pens, and we just thought that would be really exciting. So the idea is that we are going to have you guys just pick one of these organic tangles to work with. But in order for you to really know which one you want to work with, Maria is going to demonstrate all of them, and that's why we kind of thought maybe you sit back, relax, check them out, and then afterwards you can go back and start working on your own tiles. Get stretched out, ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I should do some exercises. Yeah, we're ready to go. I'm going to do poke leaf first.
Okay, so poke leaf is a favorite for sure.
So I love poke leaf. I told the story before, but it originally came from illuminated manuscripts. They often put this in backgrounds, and I love the way it really fits tight, almost in a tiling type way. But anyway, we're going to do it in sort of a border type way.
And each time she starts, she's going to start with the pod kind of sitting here on the bottom around 6 o'clock, and this string line kind of springing up from the center here.
Right. So this is where I'm going to work, on this string line, the only string line left, right?
And we're going to kind of avoid this space over here a little bit.
Are we going to do anything, and are you going to wait?
That's going to happen tomorrow.
Okay, so
she's getting a little bit ahead of herself.
Okay, so here goes poke leaf. Now, you can see that this spacing here, I'm going to sort of hang on to that, and we're going to work a little larger than usual. So my stem is going to be probably about the size, the width of this. My tangle is wanting to live on this side of the string line,
It's kind of growing
pointing
on there
into there,
like a trellis, yeah.
pointing to the right. I want to put some detail here. I can't leave anything alone.
I know. Yeah, we're sort of avoiding this space here because we're going to work on in that space later, so we don't want to let our garden grow too much into that space. But if you, a little bit's okay.
So you can see how large I'm working. I'm going to show you a comparison here. If you had the pencil next to it, you can see that it's actually, these leaves are larger than the pencil area here.
So she's using that string line as sort of a guide, or like I said, it's almost like a trellis that these poke leaves are growing on. But after she's done, it's sort of that string line is sort of almost gone, and we want it to sort of take over the reference of that beautiful arc. So remember, you guys are just watching right now, or maybe you're practicing your poke leaf on another tile or something, but I want you to just hang out for a little bit.
I'm thinking that most of you have done poke leaf, and those of you who haven't, this will give you a chance to maybe practice a little bit.
Plus, it's kind of fun because Mom actually never does it the same way twice, so you get a little flavor of how how she's doing poke leaf today. I like that little thing you're putting in the middle
That
there.
little speck thing,
Yeah,
you know,
so
it adds adds us a little detail, and she's talking about this line right here.
Yeah, just something
You know,
different.
it's just a little bit, and I've been doing that on most of my organic tangles just to add a detail.
Very cool. So
Okay.
that's poke leaf.
Poke leaf.
All right.
Okay.
Next up, we're going to put our tile again with that little pod shape down at the bottom, and this string's a little faint, but
I can make it a little darker.
there we go.
My magic wand.
So she has a pod down at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is poke root, which is similar to poke leaf. And again, I'm going to do my stem about the width of this the area around the perk. So we have the stem, the little hat, and I'm going to put that little detail in there. And my berry, which is going to be almost the size of this pea shoot that's in the perk. So that's
at least that, or even bigger. We're working with these 05 pens, and it really is a great opportunity to explore working slightly larger. So I really challenge you guys to sort of step outside of your tiny, tiny detailed work and play with something a little bit bigger here.
So my stems are going back and forth. With this beautiful berry.
And we're using this this string as a guide, but we really want to kind of creep onto the right side a little bit and kind of have these sort of showering onto that side. Beautiful.
My berries do things that maybe they don't do it in nature, because I just, it's my choice.
It's almost as if the sun is shining on that one side, and when the plants all kind of scream to one direction when the sun is in one side.
They face the sun.
Face the sun, so it's almost as if the sun is where her hand is.
Right. I'm thinking I want to put one down here just because I can.
Yeah, you can put them all along that pod if you want to.
Here?
Sure.
Oh, I didn't know it.
That might be fun.
They're sneaking down behind.
Yeah.
these are so fun to work a little bigger than we ordinarily do, which is really cool. It's a great exercise in proportion, learning how to work with different proportions.
And using a slightly bigger pen really kind of makes that a little bit easier to do. That's great, Mom. Perfect.
Good.
I love it.
Poke root.
Poke root. Okay. Everybody bear with us. I know it's hard to not start on your own yet, but I think it's good to see a flavor of everything we're working
Okay,
with.
so this is Rixty.
Rixty, yeah.
So Rixty is a little more complex than the simple poke root poke leaf, and you're going to want to take your time with this. But I love this tangle; it's kind of fun. Again, the stem, and then you have the little hat, same thing. And I'm going to put that little line in there, and add some weight. And it has like the beginning of like a top hat. And then it's going to almost aura around this little thing there.
So cute.
Let's
I'm going
make
to
this-
zoom in, Mom,
yeah,
and
I think
then
that's a great idea. Now watch
show
again.
that again, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to still do a single one here. So here's the stem's going to come out. This is a plant from the planet Zenus,
Zenus?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
And
Never heard of Zenus.
yes, and so you have this little hat thing here, and I usually kind of curve off, and meet the stem there, and then we're going to aura this top. Right? So now I'm going to do something kind of fun. I'm going to make this stem into two stems.
This is my favorite part about Rixty.
That little detail. And I'm going to aura around this. And aura around this one. And in the middle here, we're just going to...
Oh, something
Right.
new. I've never done it that way. That's
Right.
cool. Very cool.
So this is a really cool thing. We're going to be doing something in here. So let's just give this a little bit of an end point right there. And we'll go in this direction.
You,
Again-
of course, don't have to do such a theatrical endpoint.
So we get the little hat, we get the detail, little hat, detail, and then we round out these little edges, and then aura,
It really does look like something from another planet.
another planet, right?
Right?
So Molly wants me to go in this direction.
Yeah, I think we want to live in that direction just because we have some later on plans for this other space over here. So almost imagining that the sun is right over here in the corner and your plants are crawling up this trellis, but the sun is over here pulling them in that direction.
Okay, I'm just giving it some detail here because I can.
A little weighting. I like that. Yeah, we have to curve back, right?
Right, I can do that. I can get these to grow anywhere. I'm not a gardener, but boy, I can get these things to grow
Yeah, you do a good
wherever I
job.
want, and they stay really well.
All right. So our next one on the list. This one might be a little
Next
hard for you.
one, I know. This one's Flux, but this is Rick's version of Flux.
We've all sort of evolved Flux in different ways, and that is Rick's, although his is usually a little more, I think,
Exuberant.
bulbous, a little
Bulbous,
more.
yeah. Well, this is my version of Rick's version.
Your version of Rick's version, and maybe Rick will have when he does his video. You'll be able to see his
you'll
version.
See, yeah, that's true. So take it with a grain of Flux.
Flux.
So I'm going to go way off.
There you go.
Yeah. And then work back again. And they get a little bit.
Teardroppy shapes, right?
Yeah, they're more teardroppy than my version. And he likes to do this
Dot, dot.
dot dot.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That's pretty
he might,
rickish, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. And I have to put a couple here. I
Okay,
count.
you can. Just want a few, though.
Yeah.
Because the sun's shining on the other end.
Okay. Okay, up and big. So you can see how big this is right here. There's a comparative size that we're doing. Okay, and now I'm going to work backwards again.
Flux is great filler. It's so fun.
Oh, and it happens fast.
Yeah. Yeah, don't blink.
And I'm using this string line as for the larger leaves.
The guide, right? Yeah, just
Right.
kind of almost taking off and landing off of that.
Sorry, Mom.
I just don't want people to be like, we were going to use that space. You should have told me not to tangle in there.
Okay.
All right. Oh, that looks good. You're right. That did go fast.
Right.
Very cool. I love that.
So that's Ricky's flux.
Very cool. So now, when we show you Maria's flux, you're going to.
So this is the one, and I do this because this is a classic filler in like calligraphy pieces and stuff that I had done in the past that I had learned. I can't remember.
Sort of looks like an apostrophe.
Sort of, or like a really fat muka.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Okay, so again, I'm going to do one big fat one and then work back down again, okay? So this stem isn't like a stem of these leaves so much. It is sort of like a paisley, almost a paisley kind of thing. And they kind of go touching.
It's like something you see in like moldings, right? Kind of.
Right. And you just keep getting smaller. And these originally had this thing where you would put the largest orb or circle you could in there and then just keep working around. That was part of the pattern.
So the idea here is that what we're trying to do is have these organic tangles sort of create that arc and sort of edge that space for us and leave us room for tangles and
Up and around, a little bit smaller. But it's always going to be sort of kissing the one next to it. Mm-hmm. Pretty, huh?
very pretty.
I like this green color.
It's very pretty, isn't it? And this project pack is really about putting things down in layers and kind of chipping away at a bigger mosaic all at the same time. So we're working these 6 tiles all at the same time.
Okay. So that's Maria's
Flux. All right.
Okay.
This next one is one you don't see very often, but I think it was a fun one to add in there.
Samson was designed by a girl that used to work for me. Her name was Nancy Sampson. And she worked for me for many years at Pendragon and then at the beginning of Zentangle.
Yeah.
And she died about 5 years ago.
Yeah. So we like to think of her
we like to
whenever
think
we
of her
do
whenever we
Samson.
do Samson.
Yeah.
And she named it after her. Her last name was Sampson, but she says she named it after her grandson, who was also called Samson. So I'm going to start with a line and then do like you would do the veins of
A leaf.
a leaf, right? And then you're going to pretend that you just had the most fantastic cup of coffee you have ever had, and all you want is another one, but you have to do this before you have another one. So your hand's shaking so much from the caffeine that you have this shaky, it kind of auras inside.
Or maybe you should really not pretend.
You should just go have
drink
mine.
some
Might as well, yeah.
lovely cup of coffee.
And it goes all around these things, and you can see that it makes like an oak leaf, right?
Yeah.
Oh, very unexpected,
Very
right?
unusual. I don't know another tangle we do that with.
We do it with sort of with iCanvas,
Oh, a little
bit,
bit,
a
but
little
not
bit.
as not as
not as
rough,
shaky, yeah. So
again, she's diving into that other space and sort of as if the sun were over there in the corner.
and the leaves are sort of going to the sun over here. So again, here's the shaky stuff. We're going to go shaky, 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 and I'm going in there, shaky, shaky, shaky in here. So this is kind of a fun thing, and you know who does really good? I remember your girls did good with this.
Yeah, I forgot about it. We'll have to do that again.
And you can see they're going hollabah-ish behind each one before it.
It's very pretty.
And we're going to have one last little one here, like the little tiny baby leaf. So you might want to add some detail in the crevices here. Just add some rounding. Give it some character.
That's good, nice.
Good?
Yeah, I like it.
Did you ever do this?
Yeah, I did not teach a lot.
So here is Samson.
When I teach it with the kids, though, we call it spooky lines.
Spooky lines?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
All right. All right, what's next?
Sprinkle.
Sprinkle's fun.
Sprinkle is S-P-R-I-N-G for spring. Cool. K-L-E. S-P-R-I-N-G-K-L-E.
I feel like this might be inspired from your Dairy Queen days, you think?
Oh, might be. I used to be the queen of Dairy Queen, right?
If there is one.
I could do 4 cones in one hand
Yeah,
at the same time.
that's pretty good.
And I have little hands.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so, no, okay. This one here is going to start with, what is that thing that we do? That was one of our first tangles, just a little...
Fescue?
Fescue. It's almost like a little fescue. You're going to go around, and this could be either a teardrop or a circle, either way. Okay? And we're going to aura all the way around. Like that. And then we're going to put another stem on this side.
And that's a pretty close aura. Yeah, you want to get that nice
Right.
tight.
Right. Then, here comes the Dairy Queen part. Can you make this bigger?
I can, yeah.
So now the sun's over here, and this is another one of the, maybe this one's from Pluto, I don't know. This only lives on weird planets. It's got these layers of blobs. What is the technical term for this?
I don't know. You need to polish up on your Dairy Queen, though. This looks like a...
Right?
That one might be falling off the cone.
No. That's the way we used to do the Dairy Queen stuff. And you would get it and you would fling it around so that it had some character, you know? And we'd always make this little loop on the top so that it would had to have that little thing on the top. And okay, so that's the first one. So we're going to do this again. We're going to do the fescue.
For those of you who don't know what Dairy Queen is, it's an ice cream parlor or a roadside ice cream
Soft
place.
serve.
Soft serve,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're referencing how these kind of look like.
Soft serve ice cream.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that aura. That's really interesting. And then the stem to the right, it's going to... And here comes our Dairy Queen. And this one here is going to... He doesn't really know where the sun's going. You can make them go in all different directions,
This
right?
is why I love that you're demonstrating these, because she's going to take all these organic tangles and make them very organic. And for those of you that have drawn this tangle 1,000 times, you were going to be like, well, that's not how I had ever done it. But maybe you'll try it with a little more
Energy, exuberance.
exuberance. All right, so remember, we're always holding it so our pod shape's at the bottom.
And this curve is right to the left
Yeah.
of it. So the next one is going to be Vertigo, which is sort of a takeoff on like rosemary or some sort of a like pine, a
Ferns,
fern
yeah.
or a pine, a needle,
Yeah.
pine needles and stuff. But you know, we have to kind of play this by ear and adapt it for this thing because Molly doesn't want us drawing in here too much. She's
Well, we
got
just had
plans.
plans for
We've
that
got
side.
plans for that side. So we're going to do a series of these vertigos, but they're almost going to be. We'll have to call them something else because.
Yeah.
But
We're
okay,
using
so,
the same idea.
right. Here's our stem for this one. And we're going to make those needle-like shapes, like on rosemary. We're going to do the one like rosemary, right? And we're going to draw them with space in between. After we have a bunch of them on, we put our second tier, and these are going to go hollow bar-ish behind the first ones.
That's pretty.
I can tell, Molly, you can't wait to get your hands on the pen and do it yourself.
No, I wouldn't have picked Vertigo.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't think so. I like it, though.
Martha's a Vertigo.
She does a very good job
Yeah,
with
she does
Vertigo.
beautiful Vertigo. And she does it differently, completely differently than I do. So you should, as students, appreciate that. That the flavors, it's like every chef wouldn't make their dish exactly the same. They would add their own flavors, and that's what makes it really cool. Hers are totally different. I love that.
Just like yours are totally different every time you do it.
Yeah, but I cook that way too. My stuff is always different.
Right. Thought I was picking up a different spice in the Chex Mix last night.
Uh-oh. You think so? I should have hid the cilantro before you came in.
That's very pretty.
Okay. But I'm just going to put maybe one errant one over here.
Okay. It shouldn't be too bad.
Okay. I'm going to shade a little bit of the stem here.
Little weighting.
Yeah.
Makes such a difference, doesn't it? So fascinating.
Okay, so I'm going to do another stem. And we're going to do exactly the same.
This is a great tangle that sort of like, I feel like describes the mystery of Zentangle, because people would look at that and say, oh, that's just a drawing. How could that be a pattern? But if you watch the way she's doing it, it's very formulaic. She's putting down all the same shape going in one direction, and then she turns her tile and does the same thing going in the other direction. But kind of the way that it's done creates this illusion of something quite different or complex.
So if somebody had ever showed you a piece of rosemary and they said, oh, draw this, it would be like, wow, I don't know where to start. What do I do first and everything? And so this takes away all that mystery, and it actually looks very random when you're done, but it's all a formula.
Love it. It's really pretty, Mom.
Mm.
So for those of you with the project pack, we're working with this dark green pen that you got. And for those of you that don't have the project pack with you, maybe you have one of these pens. It's this hunter green color from Sakura. And it's almost this
Is it
real...
number 32? Is this the one?
I think it is. Turn it more. It's number
23.
230.
20, oh,
I
whatever.
think it's 230.
Okay.
But anyway, but if you only have black, this would look quite beautiful in black too. The green just has this very like subtle nature shout out to it. It's very nice.
So my last stem, and you might even add some detail on the stem.
I do probably want to say if you pick Vertigo, you probably will be working with some layering techniques a little more than other people with, because you have all these like sort of so when we put in our other tangles, it might be a little bit more
Challenging?
interesting. It'll be more challenging. I think Vertigo will be probably the most challenging to work with.
But it almost looks more like a palm leaf. Right?
Yeah, I still invite anybody to try it, but I always like to give that fair warning that you might be put up with some other... Mom, you did them all.
I did
Good
them all.
job.
Okay.
Alrighty, so now that we've gone through that, we've done our demonstration. I hope you all were patiently waiting for the instructions. So what I'd like to invite you to do now is to go back to the one that you've decided you'd like to use. So if you decided you're going to be a poke root person or a poke leaf or Rixty or whatever it is, go back to that section of the video so that you can watch it again, or maybe you're good and you think you can just go on your own. And then I want you to put that tangle on all 6 of your tiles. You're going to do...
Whichever one you choose.
And actually, if you want to run wild and pick 2 different and do 3 poke root and 3 poke leaf, you could probably do that too.
Or two of this one, 2 of that one, 2 of
Yeah,
that one.
you can really do anything you want. So it's open. As long as you have an organic tangle that runs along this string line and then sort of leans towards this side, we're going to be good to go for adding our other tangles.
I'm looking forward to it.
So just to repeat, you have a little bit of homework. Go back and watch the that part of the video of the tangles that you want to include. It could be all 6 the same, or 2, 2, 2, 3
Or
and 3,
3 and 3.
whatever it is you want to do. Now it's your turn to pick which organic tangles you want to add to your
These are
Zendala
so
tiles.
cool, right?
They're super fun. I can't wait to see what people are doing. So yeah, as we chip away at this this mosaic, until tomorrow, right, Mom?
Yep.
See you
See you
then.
later. Bye.
Bye.